Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to make some snippet strips, but I want to do a slightly different type of snippet strip to those that I would ordinarily do. So if you've watched my channel before, you'll know that normally I'm a big fan of, let me just pull one in, this type of thing. So I will take like some book page, line it up just like I have here, and then I just tear up scraps of paper all the way down it, and that's how my base of my snippet strips tend to be. But this time I thought we could do it like the decorative edge strips, where we just use the square pieces and line them up instead. I think it will be a slightly different kind of look, and yeah, I mean, hopefully be just as nice. So I'm just going to do a couple. So I've just got some book page. I've cut it down to, well, I mean, actually they're slightly different sizes, but you know, obviously I haven't measured. And so I'm just going to glue them on like this. So just gluing them together so that I've got, you know, a good decent size length of a strip. Okay, so like that. So that's all I did with that other one. Like that. Okie dokie. That's it. And just take my wipe. Okay, so that's my base of my strips. Now I'm just going to move that one to one side for a moment. We're taking the one that I started with. So then what I've got is I've got a bunch of squares which I've already punched out. Now mine is a, I think it's a, yeah, 2-inch square punch. Now for some reason this one is not particularly square, so let me just tidy up any that have not punched out quite right. So there we go. So I'm just then going to go along and stick my squares on next to each other. So what I might do is do like a run of glue down my edge like that, and then I can just glue like the center piece of my squares like that. Okay, and I'm just going to go along and glue them all touching each other, so that my base then, instead of being that scrappy kind of look, you know, that generally I do really like that appearance. Oops, I forgot to glue the middle part of this one. So yeah, I do really like the appearance of the torn edges, but I thought this would be, you know, just a different look, and you know, something quite fun to do. And I do love the patchwork type quilts that we've done using the squares and the decorative edge strips. So I mean, hopefully these are going to have that nice quality as well, you know, and they're going to look really nice as the snippet strips. Now I've used obviously mainly neutrally squares at the moment, so I may want to mix in some other colours. So let's try this one with some of those blue flowers. So again, just going to go along to extend this, ready for the next bunch of squares that we've got. So, and it doesn't matter if your squares are sort of overlapping slightly, it's probably better that they overlap than don't meet. So like that. Okay. Oh, again, what's wrong with me? I keep forgetting to actually glue the center of the square. There we go. I mean, to be honest, I'm loving how these look even without any extra bits on them. They look really pretty, don't they? So yeah, I'm going to probably want to hoard these and not actually use them. I mean, what on earth? What on earth? Like that. Okay, so just, you know, butting your squares up against each other like that. Okay, and then again, just go along. Now it doesn't really help that my book page, as you can see, is completely wonky, so it's a little bit throwing me off. If I'm truthful, you know, it would have been better if I'd actually done it slightly straighter, because this is causing me, you know, to want to have my squares slightly skewy, and I'm going to end up going off there, in which case I'm going to have to trim it up. But again, you know, it doesn't really matter, and obviously that's gone like this because it was the first one I've ever done. Hopefully going forward I'll learn my lesson and won't do the others in quite such a shoddy sort of way. I will learn from my mistakes, hopefully, and do the rest slightly better than this. So but I mean, they do look nice, don't they? So yeah, I think they're looking good. So again, obviously, because my book page is now quite skew-if, I'm just going to have to obviously glue an extra little bit there. Okay, and then should we have another one of those with the flowers? Okay, so like that. So even though I've gone off slightly, I can just trim that up, you know, trim that off, and then it will be fine. So I'll just go along there, get rid of that glue. Yeah, and I will just trim that off and then it will be fine. So I'll just move this along and we'll go back and we'll just fill in the other end. Okay, so yeah, loving this already, I have to say. Really love how these squares look. They've got a really nice appearance, haven't they? And these are a mixture of this is from my Savile Row kit. These are mainly, I think, from my Junk Journal Basics kit, these texty ones from the Junk Journal Basics kit 2. But they look very nice together, don't they? Perhaps it's time for another one with some blue. Okay. Again, I've now got the same situation going on this end, but my thing's slightly skew-if the other way, so I'm going to have to do a bit of trimming up. Like I say, I mean, that's just because this is the first time I've ever done this. And going forward, you know, I may not have done it on the other one that we just did, because of course I hadn't discovered this at that point. But going forward, if I did these, I'd try and make sure my book pages were a little bit straighter when I was actually sticking them down for my, you know, my base strip to pop all my squares on. But oh my goodness, that is so lovely, isn't it? I just love it already, and that's even without any pieces on. So let me just move that to one side, just mop up the glue here. Okay, right, so this one, let's try and do this one a little bit you know, eclectic in color. So we'll add some more colors rather than being really boring with the neutrals. So again, just glue sort of a strip down or a line down straight along the edges, and then we'll just take some of the squares and fill them in. Now this one, I've possibly even done this one a little bit on the wide side, but oh dear. This is why really I should have done prototypes before doing any of this, but hey, never mind. It's all good, isn't it? Oh, this is my Pink Paris, and this is my can't remember the title of this one. Anyway, it's a bit of a quandary now. I'm not sure which way round to put it. I love both sides. I think I'm going to do this side, but yeah, that's a bit tricky because I do actually love them both. So right, I'll put it down like that. Yeah, I mean, can you see? I've obviously done that way too wide, so I need to trim it down, which is a bit of a shame that I hadn't really realised that. But, you know, I'll know for next time, all these little things. So I need to have it narrower, and I need to make sure it's straighter. So, yeah, when we do them again, we'll be like experts, won't we? So, I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? It's all just, you know, for fun. We're just doing these things, having a bit of fun. So it's all fine. So I might mix in some of my lace collection papers. So again, just go along there with that little line of glue. Okay. That was the Junk Journal Basics Kit 1, this one. Okay. Yeah, these just look so nice, I have to say. Really, really, really love them so far. This is just from my damask papers. So we get a bit of green in there, which looks lovely, doesn't it? Okay. Oops. Like that. Okay, should we have another bit of the lace? I mean, I said I was going to be much more eclectic, and now actually all I've done is gone like pinks and browns, so didn't really stay very eclectic, did I? But at least we haven't gone pinks and browns, like, you know, so at least it does look different to the first one. But I mean, you could make these, you know, as mixed up as you wanted. You wouldn't have to stick with the same old colours at all. You know, you could really mix up your styles and colours, couldn't you? Which would be really fun to do. Might be a bit late to do that on this one. Well, should we try it? Let's try a bit here. So I'll just pop some down here on this end. Okay. Oops. Like that. And then just pop that out. Okay. Might be a step too far to put some blue on here, but oh yeah, I think that looks a bit strange. Well, I've got some red. Oh, mind you, I don't really want damask next to damask, do I? So, oh, let's just go with this. I'm not being very adventurous, so take back all I said about let's be adventurous. I'm being very unadventurous and just now having coordinated in the pinks and the browns, but anyway, it's still nice, isn't it? It all looks good. So we'll now spread this along the other way, fill in the rest. Now I think this has gone off pretty skewiff, so again, just going to, you know, bring my glue line down basically. So let's do this one. Okie dokie. Yeah, they look gorgeous, don't they, next to each other? I really do like them. You know, so even if I did nothing more to this, I like it just exactly as it is. You know, I don't even feel like I have to do anything else to it. I think it looks really pretty. But of course we will do other things to it. Well, hopefully we're going to do like a sort of, let me get a clean wipe to press those down with. Yeah, we're going to obviously, you know, make these into lovely snippet strips. So let's just see. Okay. Oh, I wonder if I could mix it in with some of this. Yeah, let's mix it in a little bit. So we've just got a little bit of a different look here. So like that. Okay. Oops. Oh dear, wipe that out. And then, oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? I mean, it's quite a different colour, you know, to the rest, but I think it will work actually. So yeah, let's put that one on there. Okay, right. So yeah, pop that in like that, press it down. Okay, so just going to smudge out, or, you know, smear off the glue from the edge. Okay, so right, we've just got one more that we could probably do out of that book page, because of course we've got this edge now, so I think we can get another one out of here. I'm going to cut these rough edges off, and I'm going to try my best to make this a little bit straighter, so hopefully we're going to overcome all of our mishaps that we did on the first two. So right, we want to make this pretty straight now, so no more slapdash crafting. Oh my goodness, will I ever manage to do this? Right, okay, let's hope that this is pretty straight. I mean, other than the fact it's totally wonky from my cutting, which is, you know, of course not good. So we've got that one, and then we just want to pop this one on. Okay, like that. Okie dokie. Right. Oh, let's hope I've gone straighter. It's very hard to say at the moment. Yeah, I could probably line it up against these lines and check, but we won't bother. Right, I just have a quick sip of my tea. Okay, right, let's be really eclectic with this. So let's just start here this time. Oops. Okay. Pop that one down. Right, yeah, I was very boring with the last two, wasn't I? I stayed all brown and blue with one, and then I did all, you know, pink and brown with the other. So let's try and be much more, you know, much more mixing this up this time. So let's see if we can do it. It's very hard to mix things up, you know, and not want to be matchy-matchy, I find. So, but anyway, let's try our best. Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry if you can keep hearing that bleeping. Yeah, there's obviously a bit of a group chat going on at the moment, so lots of birthdays and things like that going on, so probably group chatting about presents and things like that, I would imagine. Right. Should we pop that one? No, I don't think that one goes. I mean, sometimes, you know, you can try and be not matchy-matchy, but, you know, then it just doesn't really work at all. So, you know, you've got to be matchy-matchy, but keep him looking, you know, vaguely okay, haven't you, I suppose? So it's all very well being matchy-matchy and then it just not working at all. And then you're not going to ever like what you've created, are you? Let's just pull this down this way. Try and finish it off at this end. Okay, let's have this one. Oh, do you know, I wish that I had not glued that and I would have glued it down the other way. I didn't notice until it's too late. Don't know what's going on with my squares, but yeah, they're not the same size, are they? Which is very weird because I did them with my square punch, so Lord only knows what was going on there. Oh, we could have a pink here. I was going to do that side, but actually let's do this side. If I prefer it up there. Should we have it down here to be really mixing this up? Okay. And then, oh, what other one have we got? Got some of that lace. Maybe I could have that up there. Okie dokie. Oops, like that. Okay, and a bit of the blue damask, I think. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look lovely? Yeah, love how that looks. Right, and a little bit of glue on the end. Right, so I mean, although this one looks, to my eyes, pretty horrible, because it doesn't really go at all, you know, I don't think those papers really go particularly brilliantly together. I mean, hopefully once we've kind of, you know, worked it and put some pretty topper pieces on, it will hopefully actually look okay. So, you know, I mean, okay, I'm not necessarily saying that's the look we're going for, just okay. I mean, hopefully we're going to turn it around and it will look gorgeous, but it may or may not. So let's just see what we can do. Oops, what's happened to my wipe now? Oh dear, look. I thought I'd stayed really straight, but clearly I hadn't, because it's still going off a little bit wonky, isn't it? Ah, here we go. Oh, that's a shame. It's got that big chunk of white on there. Oh well, shall we just use this anyway? And we'll just have to cover the white up, won't we? Like that, okay. And then what about some purple? Oh, I'm not sure now. Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah, let's do that. I was going to be really safe and go with the brown, but no, let's let's stick with our goal of mixing it up. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is probably another one of those videos where you're all thinking, oh my gosh, that looks horrible. Do you know, I felt like going with this, but I think I'm going to have to do the safe thing and go with this. Oh no, let's mix it up. Yep, we said we were going to mix it up, didn't we? Let's do that. Oh, honestly. Yeah. Otherwise, you know, we're playing it so safe that, to be honest, it's not really kind of like, you know, going to be a surprise at all, is it? It's going to be predictable. Right, there we go. So we've got a lot of different stuff going on here. Now I've just got this tiny slither. Should we pop one more on? I think we can probably get one more on. What do we think? I've got some here that are sort of you know, half pieces, so perhaps I should use one of those. Love that. I mean, again, kind of weird because right now that's not very straight, so let's just see. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit on the odd side because it obviously does not go with this green at all, but let's go for it. Okay, wow, I hope this is going to look okay once we've actually made our snippet roll into, or snippet strip. I always call them a snippet strip really, because I know some people do like to roll theirs up. Personally, I never ever have rolled mine up, you know, because I just think it's going to damage it for when you want to use it. So, you know, personally, I just call them snippet strips, and I store mine just on a bulldog clip, bunched at the top here. So bulldog clip through there, and then it just hangs onto like a nail or a hook in my craft room, which I just think it keeps it in much better condition than obviously if you were using it as a roll. So okay, right, so that's our strip there. Looks awful, doesn't it? That's the look we were going for. Awful. Right, okay, let's pull in the first one that we did again. So I'm just going to finish my tea quickly. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got a sheet from my Florentine papers, and it's printed onto photo quality paper, which is, I think it's 220 or 210 or 230 GSM, and I do apologise, I can never remember which. And then I've got some acrylic paint here. Now I've got this one which is a bronzy colour, and I've got this one which is gold, and yeah, I'm not sure yet which one I'm going to use, so I'm just going to put those to one side. And then I've got my 3-inch oval punch, which I'm actually thinking the 3-inch might be too big. Oh my goodness, that is huge. Absolutely huge. Right, let me change my mind completely. The 3-inch is huge, so not using that. I've now got my 2-inch oval punch. Let me check that this is going to be better. Might still be quite big. Oops. Right, okay, so I think the 2-inch punch is going to be fine. So what I want to do is punch out my ladies here into ovals. So I'm just going to cut them out to be able to get to them. So I think in order to get them with the oval punch, if you see what I mean, I'm going to have an overlap. So a little bit of a shame for those ladies there, but hopefully now I can get to these ones. Okay, so we just take these, punch some of these out. Okay, we've got those two, and then I mean we could probably get her, we could probably get all of those actually. So yeah, let's see, let's just see. Whoops. Oh dear. Oh, come on. Oh, sorry. Struggling to hold that properly. Okay, that one. And then this one here. I mean, isn't she pretty? These are from a series of vintage cigarette cards. And yeah, they're just lovely, aren't they? Really, really lovely. Right, I might be able to get her. We shall see. I mean, strangely, I'm not that keen on her. I'm not that keen on her outfit. She's got like a weird collar on. She looks a bit like, you know, when you see those books with like dogs dressed up like as court jester things. I don't even know whether that's the thing. So yeah, maybe that's not even what they're dressed up as. But in my head, you know, like they're normally in nursery rhymes or something, those dogs, and they've got that weird collar. What's that from? If anybody knows, please let me know, because clearly I've got no clue what that actually is for. But anyway, it's reminding me of those. So I'm just going to take a couple more. So we take this one. Okie dokie. That one. That one. Okay, right. Let's put that to one side. So there's all of our little ovals. Now, as you can see, that 2-inch oval punch, I've got like an overlap where you can probably just about see the border from the cigarette cards. But that's what the paint is going to do, because we're going to edge them with the paint, which will obviously cover up those little bits. Now, do we want the gold or do we want the bronze? Is the question. The gold or the bronze? Oh, don't know now. I was thinking the bronze, but now I'm thinking, oh, maybe the gold. Or perhaps we should do some and some. So I'll just put some gold paint down. Now, I do this with my fingers. It's got to be said, I'm not the best when it comes to this type of thing. So I'm a little bit heavy-handed with my paint, as you can probably see just from that very first bit. Again, you know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, in some parts it might be good to be heavy-handed because you've got to obviously cover up the edge, but I'm not saying heavy-handed is ideal all over, but we just go around those. Like that, okay. Right. Oh, how lovely does that look? I love how that looks. Right, so let me just pick which ones we're going to have the bronze, which ones we're going to have the gold. So I think, yeah, I think probably, I don't know whether this is bronze actually or copper. Anyway, I think she would look good with this colour. Let's just call it this colour. Yeah, probably her. Oh, probably her. Do we think gold for all of the others? Or do we think bronze for any more? Right, I'm going to go for that, I think. So, right, let me just try and dab this off so I'm not quite so heavy-handed with this now. So, going round. Oh, dear. I mean, like I say, it really doesn't matter too much. You know, if you are a bit on the heavy-handed side like I am, once they, you know, are stuck down, they're not really going to be, well, I'm not saying they're not going to be noticeable, but it's not going to be the be-all and end-all. And hey, you know, it's all about just having fun, so who cares, you know? If you've got a bit of a heavy-handed kind of frame, it's fine. So yeah, let's just go over those. I mean, you could probably do this with a brush. It's got to be said, I'd probably be even worse with a brush. You know, because I can't imagine that I'd be very precise with my brush strokes. You know, if I can't even do it with my finger, I'm really not going to be very good with my brush, am I? Definitely not. Definitely not. Okay. Don't they look lovely? I mean, to be honest, they look lovely just, you know, just edged in the gold, don't they? And we've not even done anything with them yet. So I think, you know, you're going to like them. Okay. Like that. Oh my goodness. I mean, that one's terrible. But, I mean, it still looks fine, doesn't it? You know, although I've done a terrible job of it, it still does look pretty. So, you know, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised how much you can get away with. Okay. I mean, to be honest, alternatively, you know, you could go around with a Sharpie or something like that. If you had, you know, a Sharpie in a good colour, you could go around the edge with a Sharpie, or just a Stays On ink pad. You could go around the edge with something like that. I mean, I'm liking this because I like the, you know, I like the metallic. But if you didn't have metallic paint, then you could always use, you know, something else. I mean, you could even probably go around with like felt tip, normal felt tip pen, if you wanted to. Again, I would probably make a not very good job of going around with a felt tip, but you know, be worth a try. Right, let's just clean up the gold paint before I dab it in something else. So I'm just going to get a really dirty wipe out to clean that up. If I leave it there, I'm only going to end up, you know, moving my whole snippet strip into the paint. So it's better to get it off the desk. Right, let's do a couple in the... Is this copper or is this bronze? Who knows? I think it's probably copper, to be honest, but anyway. Let's do this one. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? So, I mean, it's quite a different look, isn't it, to the gold? So, yeah, I think it's quite nice to have the two different ones. Oh my goodness, how lovely does that look? Love it. Loving it, loving it. And now I've put it on my scissor handle and I'll get paint all over those. I mean, that's how come I'm just always covered in paint, isn't it? Because I'm just like dabbing it all over everything. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm making such a bad job of this. Such a bad job. Oh, come on, come on. Right, there we go. And oh, I made a really terrible job of that one. Could you see that? Oh dear. Right. Last one. I mean, paint tends to dry, or, you know, the acrylic paints tend to dry quite quickly. So you probably wouldn't need to dry these off. If you do, you know, you could just dry them with your heat tool. So I'll just go around there like that. Okay. Oh my goodness. Don't they look lovely? Just really pretty, aren't they? Right, let me just get my wipe and wipe that paint off now as well. Okay. Right. We've cleaned the desk a little bit, so I just now clean my hands. Only because otherwise, every time I touch anything, it will be obviously smudging paint onto, you know, the next thing that I touch. So, right, clean my hands. Now, I now need to just trim off the edge paper. So, you know where we glued this on and it had the overhang. So, I've got my scissors here, just cut straight down there. Was there any more on this one? Little bit at this end, so I'll just cut that down. Oops, like that. Okay. Right, now I'm going to just quickly dry mine off with the heat tool because, you know, mine are not dry and I don't want to obviously dab them onto anything. So I will come back in a second. Okay, so they are dry, well, mainly dried now. But also I dug out some lace. So I've got this gorgeous lace in this pretty blue. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to glue it to the underneath. So I'm just going to go along, yeah, to about here. So just run a bead of glue down straight along there. I mean, can you see from the back how wonky my book page was? Look at it. It's not straight at all. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Right, so I'm just going to put that down. Now I want to have this hanging out beneath my squares. So I just glue that down like that. Okay. Now that was all the lace that I had of that gorgeous colour. Unfortunately, I maybe have got some more, but I certainly couldn't find any just now. So I've got this one, which is also navy blue, but it's a very fine lace. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I would like that on the top. I'm not yet sure. or could have it kind of like layered up like that. Actually looks quite pretty, doesn't it? So yeah, maybe that would be better. That's a tough decision, to be honest. Well, maybe I should do some and some. So yeah, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my whole strip to the sewing machine, and I'm going to glue my sew my edges. So on this side where I've run out of that lovely lace, I'm going to just edge with this lace. So again, just going to snip that down here. Oops, where have I put my scissors now? There we go. So just going to snip that down, and we're just going to glue that onto the back, just exactly as we did with the other one. Now, if I want it on the front, I'm not going to glue it, because this here is a very, very fine lace, and you would definitely see the glue, and I just don't think it would look very good. So we're just going to put this one down, yeah, like that. And then if I want to have the glue, or the lace, sorry, on the above side, you know, as we just looked at, then I will just freestyle sewing that rather than gluing it first. So like that, okay? So then what we could do is, when I'm at the sewing machine, I'm going to sew just a stitch straight down this edge. And then this one, what we could do is have another run there, or we could have another run here. So, and maybe I would do half and half. So maybe I'll do half up here, and then maybe I will do half down there. So I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I'm back from the sewing machine. Now I'm going to quickly show you what I've done, because I did a couple of different things on these, and then, you know, the eclectic one, like the, you know, the mishmash of colours, I've not done anything with that yet. So haven't decided what to do with that, but I'm just going to show you. So this one, I did the, you know, the stitching under like that, and then the stitching over with the lace at the top. So that was half of it. And then the bit where I had the, you know, that really pretty lace there, I did under. Now then what happened was, I'm such a shoddy sewer that I missed some, so I then tried to kind of piece a bit in. Again, it's very scruffy. I personally don't mind that, but obviously it's just something to be aware of if that type of look, you know, is not for you. You've just got to be a bit more careful than I was when you're stitching it. And then what I did is, with this one, I took this thin lace, so like more like a lace trim, and everywhere where there was a join, I stitched the lace. Now again, I had a mishap because I'm pretty rubbish when it comes to, you know, delicate things. So I'm just going to show you how it looks. So it looks really lovely, doesn't it? And obviously this does need trimming, but look at what happened there. Yes, I have split it in two. So to do like a little repair job on the back of there, all I'm going to do is take some paper and fill that in. Now, I mean, to be honest, you could do something like use, you know, sellotape or masking tape, or, you know, if you've got any of that Tyvek or something like that, that would be fantastic. I do have Tyvek, but unfortunately, I cannot remember where I've put it since I moved my room, you know, all that time back. I've, yep, never found it since, which, oh my goodness, what on earth is going on to have lost something for such a long time. But anyway, I don't think it really matters. We can use, you know, we can use something alternative anyway. You know, it doesn't have to be the Tyvek. But I did try and kind of like hold it together, but to be honest, I just, yeah, was not capable of doing that. So I definitely need to kind of reinforce it with something. So just going to take this bit here, just take that, snip that down like that. Okay, and then just can piece that in. So all I'm going to do is glue that, and then obviously that will hold that piece together. Now when I obviously put the front pieces onto these, oh my goodness, nearly had an accident, didn't I? Nearly glued that straight to the, you know, the front of that. So I'm just going to go here on these edges especially to hold that together. So I'm going to push that like that, so it's held together, and then I'm just going to piece it in with the paper here. So hopefully now my squares are back together as they should have been in the first place, you know, had I not been quite such a shoddy sewer. So let's just press that down like that, turn it over. I mean, obviously you can see I've got some seepage of the glue, but that's fine. There we go. So yeah, it's all held together now. Now my pieces of lace, as you can see, they're at scrappy lengths. I'm going to leave those for the time being. May cut them to size when I come to use this, may not, we shall see. But I love the look of it. It's really pretty, isn't it? I just, yeah, really, really love it. And I love it with the black. So I'm just going to put that to one side. So let's bring this one back in. Okay, so then what we can do is obviously place our pieces down on the snippet strip. And don't they just look gorgeous? Absolutely just lovely, don't they? So I'm just going to kind of like work them along. Now I'm thinking these could be used then as little mini belly bands. Little mini belly bands. That was, for some reason, that caused me a lot of stress to say that. It seemed very complicated to say. So these 3 squares, they are bigger than a junk journal page. I tend to make my pages from an A4 sheet, which obviously folded in half is, you know, is going to be wider than this. So let me just bring one in to demonstrate. So I'm just going to grab a sheet of paper. Oops. Okay, right. So if I just grab a piece of paper, we just fold it in half. Okay, so this would be a junk journal page. As you can see, it's actually kind of like, yeah, like probably 2/3. So 1 square, 2 squares and 2/3. Although that square's a little bit sort of, you know, trashy at the edge. Trashy? Yeah. Tatty at the edge. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, you'd want to cut these down a little bit, but I don't want to necessarily put my piece, you know, in the middle and have it like uniformy. I mean, you could do that. That's quite a nice look, but I'm thinking more eclectic to have them at, you know, random sizes really. And again, up to you whether you want to have more than one on a belly band. I mean, I was thinking probably not, but you may want to. So it depends whether you're going to be doing yours as a snippet strip to be cutting into pieces, or whether you're going to make, you know, making it into a belly band. I'm now thinking actually the snippet pieces. Yeah, I'm now thinking back to the snippet pieces. So scrap my waffling. I'm back to my original plan, which was the snippet pieces, because actually they do look gorgeous on here, don't they? So yeah, just placing them along. I mean, they just look lovely, don't they? With that sort of navy blue colour, they look really good. So yeah, loving the you know, the colour contrast. They look very pretty, don't they? She looks lovely on there, doesn't she? So that being the case, I've got some of my bows and I've got some of my labels, which I'm thinking would be quite nice to, you know, match these up with. So let's just take my scissors and we will just take some of these labels. Now, these are my labels set 2, and they are printed this size. They are printed 4 to a page, and I'm pretty sure that that particular printable, you actually do get them, you know, 4 to a page. You don't have to kind of like set your printer and adjust your printer. I think there is a, you know, a page that's got 4 to a page. These are my labels set 1, and these are the 2 to a page. So we may prefer, you know, this size. So I'm just going to cut out a couple in different sizes so that we've got different styles to use. So those, and oh, maybe this side for these. Yeah. Okay, now I've gone for this size because, to be honest, you know, your squares are not that big, so you know, you're not going to want huge, great big labels. And then I've got my bows. So again, these are the 2 to a page, and when you buy the labels, you do get them in the 2 to a page. But I'm thinking these size down here on this edge would probably be the right size. And again, these are printed on that thicker quality photo quality paper, so just go down and take those. Okay, right, and those are the neutrals bows, sorry, not the brights. So let's take a couple of our labels. Oh my goodness, I really hate it when I have to cut things when I've got the light on in here, because the light is kind of there above my head but to the right, and of course what happens is it just casts a shadow over whatever it is I'm cutting, so I can't really see to cut it out very easily. So that's, oh gosh, I'm not going to make a good job of this shaped one, am I, because the scissors are shading everywhere I need to cut. Okay, come on, so like that. Okay, and then just, yeah, I'll just take a couple more like that. Yeah, to be honest, I just had a complete U-turn. When I went to the printer, I thought, oh, I'm going to make belly bands from these because they're going to be lovely. But when I came back, I thought, oh, actually, I do really like them as snippet pieces. So, you know, I think you could use them as belly bands. You could use them as snippet pieces. So what I might do is make some snippet pieces from this. And then we might come back and do like another video making some belly bands. I mean, to be honest, they are very, very lovely, aren't they? But yeah, I do really like them as the little snippet pieces. And I don't very often use like square, you know, square kind of snippets or anything like that. So this is a bit different for me. Okay, let's cut out these bows here. Oh my goodness, I'm really going to struggle with that shading. I wonder if I put it over this side, whether I get less shadow. Okay. I hadn't used my bows for a long time, and then I used them at Christmas, in that series between Christmas and New Year, and I've forgotten how much I love them. So yeah, I'm back to really loving using them. I mean, not that I was stopped loving using them, but I ran out of them, for, you know, kept forgetting to print some more off, and then you just, you know, forget how much you like something, don't you? So, oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? I mean, I've just, like, you know, dumped that there. Is, you know, I've not fiddled around with it or anything. It's just how it's landed, and it just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? So let's take this one, I think. Again, just going to take this to the side so that I get less shadow. Just cut this one out. Okay. Oh dear. Yeah, these are very fun to make, I have to say. You know, and we're all about the fun this year, so yeah, definitely enjoying these. And there's something really nice about using the squares. They are quite nice to use. Now, this one, I'm thinking, do we want to have a contrasting label, or do we want to sort of keep it neutrally? I mean, originally I thought this one. I have got this one, because it's all very bronze, isn't it? So I'm thinking maybe this one, actually. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to cut this out. Yeah, the shadow is really over this, and because this is, you know, a bronzy colour, the shadow is obviously very similar to the colour, if that makes sense. So I mean, it's even worse to actually see what I'm doing. Oh my goodness. Well, I've not made a good job of it, but it will do. So yeah, perhaps we'll have it like that. What do we think? I do like it. Right, let me get my blendy tool. I'm going to ink these up slightly. So I mean, they probably don't really need inking a great deal, but just a little bit. So ink the label a bit and just ink around here just a touch like that. Okay, right, let's put the label down. Oops. Okay. So pop the label down there. Okay. Like that. And then this one, just pop this one down. I need to clean my glue nozzle, it's, yeah, causing problems. Like that. Okay. So, I mean, how gorgeous does that look? Absolutely love how that looks. And then what I can do here is just take my, take my bow, and I'm going to just hot glue the bow down. Now, the only reason I'm doing this really is because it's going over a few layers. I just want to make sure it's glued down properly. So there we go, like that. Hopefully that's all glued on. And then what we could do is, I've got some little pearls. Let me see if we could have a pearly centre in the middle of the bow. That's very elegant, isn't it? So yeah. Like that. Oh, doesn't that look gorgeous? And I just see if we want some bling. We probably don't, but just in case, we'll just try some out, because, you know, it never hurts to try, does it? I'm thinking about 4. Oh, I think we do. No, I did not think that was going to need bling, but it does look better. Everything looks better with bling, doesn't it? Yeah. There we go. How gorgeous does that look? And then you could just cut that down there, and that's your whole snippet piece. So let's do this one now. So again, just going to ink this round a bit. Okay, we were using this one, weren't we? Oh, sorry if you could just hear bow there. So I'm going to glue this one down here. Oh, let me clean my end of my glue off, because that's even annoying me now. Okay. Like that. Okay. And that's just gone across that join as well, which, you know, it's just helping to sort of stabilize it a bit. And then she's going to go on there, which again is also going to be across the join, as you know, slightly, which, you know, again, it's all going to help to stabilize it. I'm going to just hot glue this one down. Like that. Oh, isn't she lovely? That looks gorgeous, doesn't it? And then we could just have the bow, maybe just going off here to the edge. Oh, doesn't that look lovely? Absolutely love, love, love how that looks. Right, so let's do another one. So we've got this one, or should we mix this up and have another gold one? Because we don't want to suddenly have like all the gold ones bunched together. I mean, not that it matters, because when we come to use this, they're going to be used in different places to, you know, where they currently are, if you see what I mean. So yeah, it probably doesn't really matter. But now this, I've got this red flower trim. Let's just try this, shall we? Oops. That's quite lovely, isn't it? Now, this label might be too tiny for this, so let's just see. Oh, there we go. So there's no reason why you can't have the label, you know, over the top of the piece. So I'm just going to pop the piece down first, the oval lady. Like that. Okay, and like I say, if you pop her straight over the join, that then stabilizes it too, which, you know, that's just a little, yeah, stabilizing point. Oops. So I'm just going to put this down here. Like that. Just going to put this with the wet glue. I'm just intermixing the hot glue and the wet glue, and the reason I'm doing that is because anywhere where I think it's a little bit bulky, I'm using the hot glue generally, and anywhere where I, you know, I would expect it to just glue down with no problem, I'm just using the wet glue. So now I'm thinking something like that. Wonder if we should have the other couple on there as well. Perhaps I should have it more. Do we think that's a little bit too over, you know, overbearing, or do we think that's okay? Maybe I should cut this one down, because maybe we'd be better off with 2 singular rather than a double and a single, if you see what I mean. So maybe something like that. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? Oh yeah, that's quite nice. Right. Oh gosh. And again, yeah, I've got these floral trims in my shop, so I can't guarantee what's left. But yeah, I've definitely had them in there on my website, so do have a look if you'd, you know, if you'd like some. There we go. Oh my goodness, aren't they gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful, aren't they? And I love the way we've mixed them with these colours, because I ordinarily wouldn't have put these ladies with the blues, but there's something really nice about them, isn't there? They really seem to go very well. Now this label has been, you know, chopped off with my printing, so I'm wondering if we might be able to use this sideways. Now I don't know whether this will look ridiculous, but we might as well try it, mightn't we? So let's just ink that up. Oops. Yeah, I mean, maybe like that or something. That's quite pretty, isn't it? So yeah, let's pop this one down. Actually, I'm going to hot glue this because it's going over that join. Oops. Like that. Okay. And then this one we will just pop onto here like that. Oh dear, come on, keep straight. Like that. Now, do we want to have a bow on this one, or do we want bling? What type of thing do we want on this one? So, you know, we're mixing them up, aren't we, and getting a few different looks. Could even have, I mean, that's probably a little bit weird, but I don't mind it, strangely. So perhaps we'll have that across the bottom of another one. Maybe something like... Right, now this is where I've got this weird kind of crossover of the 2 different laces. So we might have to start working our way backwards, because I'm not sure how good that sort of centre part looks. It looks a bit strange, doesn't it? But we'll see. We'll see. It maybe will look not as strange as I'm thinking. Who knows? It might look rubbish. Let's... yeah, we'll come back to that one. So let's just do this one first. Let's see what bows we've got. Hold on. Right. I'm actually thinking I've got a green bow here. So let's try the green. Okay, let's take that one. Yeah, don't they just go really well on that blue? I mean, who would have thought that that would look nice? But I mean, actually, when I first, you know, was going to do the video and then I made the blue snippet roll, I actually thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to use these Florentine papers, which I'd printed off to use. But they do look really good, don't they? And then when I did the second snippet roll, snippet strip, stop calling it snippet roll, sorry. When I did the second one, I then thought, well, actually, I can always use the second one. I love that green on there. I can use the green, sorry, I can use the pink one with the, you know, the Florentine papers, and I thought that would look absolutely gorgeous. But actually, I think these look pretty nice on here. You know, I don't think the... Oops, I don't think they need to be on that pink one after all. So let's pop that down like that. Okay. Love how that looks. Right, I might just have a little bit of bling on that one as well, because we have gone quite blingless, haven't we? We've only had bling on that first one so far. So let's just take that and snip that down. Okay, and then just, yeah, just a bit of bling over there, I think. There we go. Oh my goodness, don't they look gorgeous? I really am loving how these look. They are so nice. And you know what's going to happen, don't you? This is going to be one of those snippet strips that I'm then going to hoard, because I'm not going to be able to bring myself to be able to use this, am I? Do you know what? I'm now thinking, actually, we'll do something else with this side. So maybe do the belly bands with that side. So let's move this to one side and let's do a couple of snippets on this pink and brown one. So just so that we've got a couple of different looks on here. So yeah, let's do it like that, shall we? Love how those two look. Now, do I want to do... Oh, I don't know now. I mean, they are very, very nice, aren't they? See, and then you could tear these down or cut them down and you'd have a little bit of two different types of papers, which I think would be quite, you know, quite lovely, wouldn't it? So let's do that one like that, I think. Yeah, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? Just going to check that I wouldn't prefer the other end. Hold on. Yeah, I now have got an urge to hoard these. I mean, what on earth is that about? Oh, I'm loving it on this end, I have to say. That looks really, really, really nice. Yeah, really love that. And I could just cut it there. That's gorgeous. Right, let's just ink this up a bit. Again, probably doesn't really need inking, but we'll just ink it anyway. And I'm just going to hot glue it down. Complete overkill. Does not need hot gluing really, but we'll just go with the hot glue like that. And then we'll just pop our label down. Did I ink that? The inking just really helps when you've, you know, not made a great job of cutting, which I haven't. So yeah, let's just glue this down like that. Oh, I love how that looks. That's so pretty. And then bows. Do I want to have a bow or do I want something else? Again, I have got that other red flower. Not sure how well that red flower really goes on there, but I mean, it's not too bad. What do we think? Should I? Oh, let's just go for that. It gets it off the desk and yeah, I think it does look okay, to be honest. Now, what did I do with that bling? Yes. Let's just see if we want any bling on this one as well. Oh my gosh, how gorgeous does that look? Now, this lace, I was going to trim it off where it's overhanging at the bottom, but actually, do you know, I think I'm going to leave it because I actually think it looks lovely. Just hanging down there. And then you just cut that there and you've got a whole little snippet there. Obviously, you could ink it up and things. It's gorgeous, isn't it? So let's just do another one. I'm holding fire on this one because it's got those yellow flowers. I don't necessarily feel like it goes. So that's what's kind of like stopping me from using that one. Now this one, I'm thinking we might have to come back to the other end. Or maybe use this one. Just go back and forth, back and forth. Oh yeah. Okay. So maybe have her there. Well, the only thing is I'm losing all that sheet music paper. Well, perhaps we could have this one this way round. Like that. Don't forget, we're going to cut this here, so we're going to have some of that paper kind of showing. So I'm thinking glue her down this way, hanging off a little bit, overhanging the side, So again, have I got a label that would go with her? Let's just see. Okay, and yep. Okay, right, so let's just ink that up a bit, ink her up a bit. Oh, doesn't she look gorgeous there? Oh, the only thing is that label's then... Oh, do you know, I'm going to have to not have the label because, you know, I do want to have some of that paper showing. So I think the label is just, you know, detracting from the papers, really. So, yeah, I'm going to have it like that. Now, she's going to be cut across here, so like that. And then thinking... Let's just see... well, we could probably have a bow, or we could even have a real life bow. That one's not quite right. We could have something else. I've got my little bag of tricks here, so yeah, I've got a couple of red bows. Let's try those. I've got an ivory one. It's a bit of a tough decision here. Let's see. And that's quite nice, isn't it? Or could have the red. I mean, don't forget it's going to be cut here and here. Oh, I don't know. I can't decide. I mean, they're quite different looks, aren't they? I think I prefer the red, actually. Let's be adventurous. Let's go for the red. Yeah, how gorgeous does that look? Absolutely love it. And then I should have some more bling here because I think I've cut a couple of bits. I don't think I've used it all, but perhaps I have. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I knew I must have some somewhere. So we could then probably put the bling down there as well. You know, not essential, but it does all just bring it to the next level, doesn't it? So like that. Oh my goodness. How lovely does that look? And obviously you could just work your way then straight up the snippet roll or down the snippet roll or across the snippet roll doing those. But aren't they just so gorgeous? And just a little different way of making the snippet strips. You know, I think they're quite nice because you've got a whole different bunch of the papers. And it's just going to give you, you know, something different to work with. For me personally, who, you know, I'm very kind of like hooked on the whole tearing my papers. This is quite a good way to get me to do them, you know, with neat edges, but not just looking like I've just cut out a sheet of paper, because obviously you've got different papers here. So yeah, I quite like them. And obviously we've got other things that we could do with these. We could obviously turn these into belly bands, you know, cut these down and, you know, do them at sort of sections. And again, like with this one, oops, cut that down into sections there to keep as belly bands. Unfortunately, I've realised what has happened here, because when I was actually stitching these, obviously the paper was kind of folding, and this is very brittle paper. It's very old paper and it's very brittle. So again, I wouldn't, you know, necessarily use kind of antique paper really to use as your base strip for your snippet rolls, because that's going to just result in your paper cracking, and then you're actually going to have sort of separation going on. Yeah, so I would use something more modern, something less prone to cracking. But yeah, aside from that, I'm pretty pleased with them. And if I wanted to change them into belly bands now, you know, with that problem issue of the, you know, the cracking paper, I'd just reinforce that now with some extra paper, which would then obviously, you know, prevent the cracking or, you know, seal it up again. So, you know, that's a kind of get around for that. So yeah, anyway, I hope it's given you some ideas and I hope you like it. Yeah, just really different looks, I think. So I'm going to carry on and make some more hopefully later on today. But yeah, have fun if you decide to make some, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.